All right, let's focus. The title of this podcast is called The Really, Really Bad News. And it's bad. We've all got the disease. From Psalm 51:5, it says, "Surely I was sinful at birth, sinful from the time my mother conceived me." You may only believe Adam and Eve to be an allegory for the fall of man. I don't. But there is no escaping the fact evil is real in this world. In some degree, it is also in you. Most reasonable people will not object to the fact that there is a clear and present evil in our world. We see war, murder, child abuse, and a bent for recklessness on the news every night. But what is really, really disagreeable is owning up to the bad stuff in our own lives. Our personal lying, our lustful thoughts, our cheating, boasting, our selfishness. These can be easily ignored or rationalized. These can be called character traits. Now, to own up to your own faults can be unbearable. I hated the day after I used to play poorly in a game. If you've done it, you know the watching game films. Oh, the coach has a big thumb and he plays it over and over and over. My coach would say, good or bad, the camera doesn't lie. When I had a bad game, I hated watching myself on film, being exposed to all those lousy techniques. Jesus tries to explain one of his many attributes. He describes himself as light. Light. We all love light, unfortunately. In the light, we can see things better, but we can also see the dirt. On a clear day, I see how badly my windows need cleaning. Parts of society will tell you, you don't need the light. That's not really dirt, it's just an alternative lifestyle. The scriptures quote Jesus in John saying, "Everyone who does evil hates the light and will not come into the light for fear that his deeds will be exposed." As much as we try to hide or ignore our sin, the bad stuff in us, we all live with the consequences of Adam and Eve's sin. We were designed with a purpose. And when we disregard that purpose, when we disregard it, we turn our backs on that purpose, we sin. Sin denotes both an action and a nature. An inward nature, it's a disease. We all have the disease and it is incurable. At least it's incurable by man. If we are really blessed, we realize that we are in a regrettable hole. We are deep down in that hole. But even if we recognize that we need to get out of that hole, we unfortunately do not have the spring in our legs. We just can't jump high enough to get out. All we can do is yell for help. The outcome of sin is death, separation from God. Yep, no one likes to talk about it, but it's hell. I'm amazed at how many will express a hope for heaven. Yeah, they love to talk about heaven, something they learned in the Bible. But they denied the existence of hell, which is also in the Bible. Hell, like sin, is also very misunderstood. I don't mind going to hell, somebody might tell me, because all my mates will be down there with me, and we can party together. From Matthew 25, we see that hell was originally for Satan and all his angels that followed him. But it would also be for those who have rejected Christ. From the New Testament, we understand those in hell will be in solitary, in a discomfort, and in terror. It'll be solitary. They won't be with their friends. Now, this is bad news. Really bad news. But listen on to some of these other podcasts because it gets better. But if you have good news, the gospel, it must mean there's bad news out there. Reflection. When I really look at myself in the mirror, what do I do about what I see there? Do I stay away from mirrors? Pretend what I do not like is not there, or at least try to ignore it? Here's a prayer. Lord, sometimes I try to ignore or push away uncomfortable thoughts. Self-delusion is my foolish fortress. I just do not want to deal with certain issues. God, help me to look at my life through your perspective. Help me to rid myself of the bad inside of me. I cannot do it on my own. I need your son. Here's a quote from the Indigo Girls. Someone's on the telephone, desperate in his pain. Someone's on the bathroom floor doing her cocaine. Someone's got their finger on a button in some room, and you cannot tell us that we aren't gluttons for our doom. Bad news today, but it gets better. Keep listening. Ready, set, go.
You're listening to Let's Focus, an inspirational podcast to help you train, coach, and compete to the max. This series of podcasts aims to biblically address many of the challenging themes that people in the world of sport encounter. This podcast encourages you to know and make known our Creator, or in other words, to have a total adventure with God. This is a Sports Outreach International production. You can find us on the web at sportsoutreach.com. That's sportsoutreach.com. Stay focused, ready, set, go.